This is the Pentax K1000. It is a fully manual, mechanically controlled camera, originally made in the 1970s, but produced all the way up until the 1990s. It's a ubiquitous camera, which pretty much embodies everything film photography is all about. It's a solid and sturdy workhorse, which does everything you want it to do and nothing else. Unlike today's DSLRs, there's not really any fancy features here, just control over the shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. Not much anything else is available here. I got this camera off eBay for just $40. You can probably find it for cheaper, but as is always the case with eBay, you'll have to make sure the camera's in good condition. There are certain versions of this camera you want to avoid. Cameras produced in the 1970s are the best, and they say made in Japan on the back. They moved production later to Hong Kong, where I believe my camera was made. The build quality of both of these versions remains spectacular, as basically all the parts are made of metal. In the 1990s, they moved it to China to save more money, and then replaced these sturdy top and bottom metal plates with plastic. Don't get these, they don't say Asahi on the viewfinder housing, they don't have this cool looking logo, and they don't say Asahi Optical Co. on the back, so they're pretty easy to identify. Shooting with the K1000 is an absolute pleasure. Just wind the film, which also cocks the shutter at the same time, and then set your aperture, set your shutter speed, and hit the shutter button, which clicks with a delightfully mechanical sound. I found that the shutter speed dial is also a bit difficult to rotate, especially when looking through the viewfinder to center the metering needle. Your fingers just don't quite fit where they need to be. Speaking of which, metering in the K1000 is done spectacularly. In the viewfinder there's a needle which moves up and down according to the exposure. Center the needle and you'll have a perfect exposure. It's that simple. As is the norm for film cameras, simply lift up the rewind mechanism until the back door opens, allowing you to retrieve or insert film. Again, it's ridiculously simple. There isn't even an on or off switch in this camera. Because it's fully mechanical, the only thing that needs to be turned on or off is the light meter, and since it's a light meter, it can meter light, and knows whether the lens cap is on or off. So, when there is no lens cap, the camera is on, and when there is a lens cap, it's off. This camera is without a doubt one of the greatest cameras ever made. No autofocus, auto aperture, auto exposure, or anything else auto. Everything is controlled manually by you, allowing you to take your pictures, and nothing else gets in your way.